Y'all, there's enough shit going on in the world right now that y'all brought me back from the dead of the internet. Like, here I am. That I was done. I did not like posting. It was just too stressful. I didn't want to be an online person. And here I am, back. Because your kids can't read because you're a bad parent. Let's get into it. You're a bad parent. How can I tell that you're a bad parent? Your kid can't read. Can't do math. Can't do shit. Can't focus or pay attention at all. You drop them off at the mall at 10 years old to go to Sephora and make a Sephora elephant smoothie thing.
I just saw a girl on my For You page talking about how Sephora has become the new Claire's. There's a bunch of 10-year-olds running around fiending for Drunk Elephant and like looking for rare beauty as if Selena Gomez is in the building.
Where they ruin all the testers in the store. And, you know, if teachers come up to you saying your kid has disciplinary issues or your kid can't read, instead of taking any responsibility onto yourself, you're like, well, that's the teacher's fault. That's the school's fault. You don't know how to handle children. You don't know how to handle kids. I expected y'all to know how to handle kids. That's you. You are the clown. Clown emoji, that's you.
How is he supposed to be productive if he can't read?
Some people may not like what I have to say, but I don't give a federal fuck. How are you going to write a letter to the school board saying that your kid can't read? If you can write a letter, you can read a book. If you can read a book, you can teach somebody else how to read a book. If you don't have money for a book, you can go to the library. If you don't have a car to the library, you can hobo your ass down. Unless that parent can't read themselves, there is no excuse for a parent to have their child that can't read. Do you read them books at night? Do you have them read back to you? Do you go over the alphabet with them? Do you go over sounds with them? What the hell are you doing? You gotta read every day last time I checked. You can't spell cat with your kid. Is what there? You better stop all that crying and writing letters and shit and get your black ass up and take that boy to the library, goddammit. The hell wrong with you? The library is free 50, no tax.
These children only know how to speak in Skadit or whatever that weird toilet thing is and emojis. Like, you children, Lord help them, because they're not getting help from you, that's for sure. So let's get into specifics. There are so many teachers on the internet talking about how students cannot read on grade level. So specifically, 7th grade English teachers talking about how kids cannot read on grade level. They can't write, they can't spell, they can't do anything. There's many factors here. And let me just allude you to what 7th grade English should be, okay? Because I remember it's ingrained in my head because that shit was hard for me. 7th grade me, struggle bus, because reading, not as easy as math for me, okay, as a kid. So when we had to learn about independent clauses, dependent clauses, compound sentences, conjugates, I don't even remember, prefixes, suffixes. I should just be able to look at a word and know what it means based on the prefixes and suffixes and not just sight words. And like, know when the hell to use a comma? Are you kidding me? I can't even do that now. Know when to use a semicolon instead of a comma. I went through it and I learned it. I didn't have AI telling me how to fix my sentences and writing my essays for me for homework. Drama. So, all these teachers are saying that people don't know how to, 7th graders are not reading on a 7th grade level. They're reading on a 4th grade level. Even lower, like 2nd grade. They don't know how to do math. They don't know how to do 7th grade math. And like, I get this, going back to you as a parent, don't forget, I'm coming for you. I get that, damn, my kid's not great at English. They're in 7th grade, and they're talking about independent and dependent clauses and commas and stuff, and I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to help them. That will be mute. I'm a parent. Guess what you can do? You can Google, watch a YouTube video, refresh yourself so that you can remember it. So you can refresh yourself enough to remember to help your kid do the homework. Because you learned it once, and it's slightly hypocritical of you to just let your kid fend for themselves to learn something that you've already learned and forgotten. And you're just like, well, that's on them. I'm not going to help them. I'm not going to help my student,
my own child,
succeed. That's my cat. I'm not going to help my own child succeed in a class full of like probably 25 students. How is the teacher going to give you individual attention to make sure that you succeed? Like, hello? Hi, Sayomi. That's my cat. She's very whiny. You're just gonna let your kid fend for themselves? Do you really care about your kid if you're doing that? Controversial thing to ask. You know, even questioning a mother's love. How fucking dare I? You not helping your kid, you're not helping them. You're not letting them succeed. Same with math. They change math all the time. I remember I was learning math. My mom was like, oh, multiplying. When you do like double digits, like 12 times 27 or something. She was like, you gotta stack them. You gotta stack them and crisscross and all that. That's not the how they wanted me to learn math, you know? And while she didn't understand the way that they wanted me to do math, she sat me down and taught me the way that she knew how to do math. And as long as I got the same answer for both, I was doing it right. That's being a good parent. My mom, also not. We are two peas in a pod. Reading, not our thing. We are Sayomi. Dramatic. Hello. Move it. Move it. Please excuse the interruption. She wants to go outside, which she will not. Anyways. So, what was I talking about? Oh. Something I've realized is that a lot of kids know sight words. Even adults know sight words. Where it's like, you've seen this word, you know how it sounds, you know what it means.
Y'all have probably seen the videos talking about kids can't read nowadays, 7th graders reading at a 4th grade level, kids don't know their ABCs, kids can't read, and I wanted to talk about that. And the thing is, it's not just kids. 20% of adults in the United States are illiterate. Over 50% of adults can't read past an 8th grade level, so it's not just the kids. And there are many factors that play into it, but the factor I'm going to talk about is what happens in schools. The instruction in schools, mainly about sight words and not phonics, is the issue. Last year I was in a kindergarten classroom. You saw, you talked about, you heard, you looked at sight words every single day. There was one time in one of the teaching guides that was talking about holidays being sight words like Christmas.
Prefixes and suffixes, am I right? Those phonics that I remember going over in like kindergarten, 1st grade, like that stuff that I'm supposed to know. I remember sitting down, crisscross applesauce in school, and they're talking about how you need to know this. And I was just like, looking at the board like, I don't know what any of this means or what's going on. And guess what? Because I didn't learn phonics, I just learned sight words. Now if someone just tells me a word and I go to spell it without having seen it before, and they're like, just sound it out. Most of the time, I don't do a great job, but I'm close. I'm closer than some kids on the internet. Let me just say, if I grew up with autocorrect, I'd be screwed. So screwed. Couldn't do it. So, back to you being a terrible parent. Because that's what I'm talking about today. Your kids just spend time on the internet. There's a mom who wants to give her kid an iPad at 1 year old and wanted to give it to them last year for Christmas when they weren't even a whole year old yet. This is Arthur. Say hello, Arthur, and say goodbye. You are in the camera shot, the money shot, please. Are you saying that, like, kids should have iPads at like 1 year old. I don't think kids should have smart devices really at all. I know kids, people my age, who grew up with iPads and they didn't have imagination. I know teachers who teach in elementary school who they take their kids outside for recess and those kids don't know how to imagine. Like, they just stand around and like, what do we do? Like, they don't have a sense of imagination. They never played outside. They never experienced life. You know, people talk about how the world's ending, we're going to run out of resources in 5 years and everything's going to die. You'd think you want your kids to play outside more then, right? Like, if you think the world's ending in 5 years, then you would want your kids to at least experience life outside before then. But you don't. You let them sit on an iPad. You let them sit and just watch skiddy, weird toilet videos that are rotting their brain. Yes, COVID played an aspect in studying these kids' development and their learning and their social skills. We can't ignore that. But also, so many parents use that as an excuse and also say, well, teachers aren't teaching. They're not doing a good enough job. When I got home as a kid, it wasn't like I did all the learning I ever possibly did at school and didn't do any learning at home. And my parents played no role in my education at all. That's not what happened. I'm getting a fucking PhD in chemistry. And that would not have been possible if my parents didn't work with me after school to make sure that I understood what was going on in school, the foundations. At least up until a point. Like, high school, it was kind of like, you're on your own. But, like, very much elementary school, my mom was very much there. There was some help I got from them in middle school. But, like, those first 5 years of school are very foundational for the types of habits you're going to make when it comes to learning. Your note-taking style. How you're going to study before an exam. If you're going to actually, retain what you learned in school. That's very foundational in those first 5 years of school. If you don't learn it in elementary school, how to retain what you learned in class, good luck when things get harder. Good luck. Parents aren't parenting. Let's just be honest, okay? The main point is spend time with your kids, teach them things, hand down things to them, useful skills that your parents taught you. Take time to sit down with them and make sure that they understand what's going on in their classroom and that they're reading to grade level and doing all their homework. Give them extracurricular activities for them to do. Be a space for that your kids and their friends can come over and hang out. That's all I'm saying for that, I guess. I've ranted enough about this. It's just very frustrating. And I will see you guys in the next video because I'm back. Bye.
Smells like money.